All right, guys. Want to take a quick second, talk to everyone that is watching, and hopefully you share this video because I know I do mostly making fun of Instructor Zero and shooting compilations and a couple of reviews that I've done, and I mean there's more of that shit to come. But I I'm not doing a YouTube channel to get famous. I'm not doing it to get a bunch of freebies. I'm doing it just because it's something to soak up the rest of my time. But I wanted to take some time and talk about gun safety. And it's one of those things that you don't feel like it's something you should have to talk about, but for some reason it is something we have to talk about. Um, so I'm going to talk to y'all about, you know, unloading and negligent discharges. Um, about a month ago now, a very close friend of mine was killed by a negligent discharge, and it's taken me some time to pretty much work up the strength to talk about it. Uh, he was very near and dear to my heart, and even now I'm struggling with honestly not breaking down in tears talking about it. Um, they were out hunting, and he was with some of his cousins and his cousins' kids, and um, his cousin set down his AR-15 on the bed of the truck, and his daughter picked it up. You know, because normally Daddy unloads the gun and lets her hold it, and they weren't paying attention to her. His gun wasn't unloaded, and she ended up pulling the trigger, and that negligent discharge, because I would call that a negligent discharge, uh, popped my friend right in the heart. The ranch they were on was too far to get help, and being popped in the heart didn't help much. There was no saving him. Uh, a couple weeks ago, one of my cousins was talking to me about if I've ever had a negligent discharge because it happened to him. I can honestly say I've never had a negligent discharge. I've never had a firearm go off when I didn't want it to. Um, and I'm not some huge super safety Sally about it, but to me it's common sense. But I've been shooting all my life, so that's why it becomes normal to me uh, to make sure that a gun never goes off when you don't want it to. Uh, just the other day, another friend of mine, he got home from hunting and thought his Remington 700 was unloaded, and he threw it on the bed and it went off just from throwing it on top of his bed. The round went off, went through his TV, went through his wall, and very nearly hurt his grandmother. Uh, but these things happen, they shouldn't happen. But I mean, it's not very difficult to, you know, be safe. You know, keep your finger off the trigger. Don't point it at anything you're not willing to destroy or kill. And if you want your gun unloaded, if you're working with a pistol, you know, a semi-automatic pistol, you drop your magazine and then check it. Now, I don't do the whole thing. I think it's fucking stupid and pointless, but I rack it, nothing comes out. I lock it to the rear, and I'll check it. Now, see, here with the lighting I have, it's not very good, so if the lighting's not very good, I pull out the trusty rusty Streamlight and take a look in there. Nothing's in there, gun's unloaded. And sometimes I'll even stick my finger down in there and feel it. I know this pistol is safe now. There's nothing in here. And even still, knowing that it is safe, I will still follow the hammer with my fingers down. Now, there's a rule of thumb in my house. If it's a pistol, it's loaded. My child knows that. My wife knows that. This pistol, I guarantee you, is loaded because it just came off my hip. Now, the reason I drop the magazine and rack it and I don't do is because I know there's no magazine in there. But I do still lock it to the rear and double check it. That's something we should always do. Now, if we're talking about rifles, AR-15s is what most people shoot these days. You know, I'll take my magazine out, lock my bolt to the rear, inspect it. There's nothing in there. I can see that. Now, my rifles, I'll always, pull the trigger, make sure that the hammer is forward. Because in my house, the AR-15s stay in duty carry. So that way, if I do need it, I rack it and go to work. The reason I do that is because it's a lot easier for my little one to get her hands on this one and do something with it. Also, I do home carry. I have my pistol on me at all times when I'm in my house, so the pistol stays loaded. But this one's never out of my sight. The rifle is, from time to time. So, that's also why my rifle stays in duty carry. As far as my other guns go, because, I got some bolt actions, I got some shotguns, I got some antique firearms. Those all stay unloaded all the time unless I'm taking them out to shoot. And the bolt actions, the bolts come out and they stay out unless I'm about to shoot it. My semi-automatic shotguns, the bolt is locked to the rear with a lock through it. My break action shotguns, those are always broken in half and stored separately. Those are never loaded in the house or even put together in the house, ever. I don't understand why this is something we even have to talk about. I really don't. I mean, gun safety is everyone's business. If you're going to own firearms, you need to be safe with it. Everyone is always safe with their cars. They're always safe with their knives in the kitchen. Whatever it is you do at work, if you work some kind of blue-collar job, I'm sure you're constantly trying to be safe there. I mean, unless you work in the oil field, then you just don't give a fuck, but you should. But I'm not going to get into all of that right now. I just wanted to talk about negligent discharges and gun safety briefly. It's something I'm going to address more so in the future. But the other thing I suggest doing is having a trauma kit. Not a first aid kit that you get from Walmart with a bunch of fucking Band-Aids and those little strips of fucking gauze. No, I mean a trauma kit. I mean a full-on fucking trauma kit. I carry all kinds of trauma equipment with me every day. There's a rat's tourniquet I carry on my belt. I carry a backpack with me everywhere I go, and that's got a blowout kit in it with a cat tourniquet in the bag. On my duty belt, there's a trauma kit right here that is easily accessible. In my truck, I carry a big medical bag that a friend of mine in the Army gave me, and I have that fully stocked out. My friends call me the walking ambulance um, because of what I carry with me. I don't carry a whole lot of band-aids and little scrapes and baby boo-boos. Um, Hell, I'll use electrical tape and toilet paper if I cut my finger bad enough. Uh, but you need to get training on how to use that trauma shit. It's not just something you can pick up and be like, oh, okay, I know how to use this. You know, it's easy, just pack the wound. There's some spots of the body where you don't want to pack. There's some places where you don't want to use a tourniquet for certain applications, depending on what you got going on at the time. God forbid you're ever in that situation. But it's something you should know how to do. Uh, I learned a lot of trauma-based medical stuff when I was in Boy Scouts, and yes, I'm an Eagle Scout for life, and I'm not ashamed of that. Make fun of me all you want if you want. I don't give a crap. But I've also gone and got more training on that, and I'm still pursuing that training, just like I'm still pursuing the firearms training. Um, I want to get better every day with guns, with medical equipment. I want to get better physically, and these are things we should strive for: is to be safer and better than we were yesterday. Um, so if you get small children in the house, or children in general, I don't care if they're 2 years old or they're 20 years old. You know, you want to store your guns so that you're safe, your kids are safe, everyone around you is safe. A lot of us carry guns for protection and for safety, but it's, how can I put this? It's counterintuitive to, if that's even the right word, to have guns but not know how to use them. I mean, a few short years ago, son of a bitch. A few short years ago, I bought into the whole cup and saucer thing. It wasn't until about 5-6 years ago I learned about thumbs forward on a pistol that it's better than the cup and saucer. Um, you know, we need to evolve. We need to get better. We need to be better. This is also why I love my 1911s more than I love, like Glocks or M&Ps, because it's safer. The 1911 is already one of the safest pistols you can buy because you got your thumb safety, you got your beaver tail safety, and what a lot of people don't know is the safety that's built in. You know, let me get a little closer here. I can pull the trigger, let off the trigger. Oh shit, I clicked it. Okay. And then let it go, and it doesn't hit. It will never hit. Ever. It's the same way on my Springfield. It's the same way on my Colt. All 1911s work that way. And some are even what they call Series 80s. I don't even know if you can see this. Nope, Streamlight's too bright. Go figure. Fucking Streamlight. Maybe I should have bought a Surefire. But safeties are things we should use. You know, don't trust your life on it because safeties do fail. But it is something we should use at all times. I think I've pretty much touched on what I want to touch on before I start rambling, which I tend to do because I'm still not used to talking to a camera. I'm used to talking to people, and there's no people here. It's just me talking to a fucking camera, and I feel like a fucking idiot sometimes. But y'all be safe. Get the training. Be smart about it. Don't be fucking stupid. Don't pick up a gun and be like, oh, hey, look, a gun. I've seen tons of movies. I know how to do this. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, don't do that shit. and especially don't do that with your medical equipment, because what if you roll up on a wreck and you know you see someone bleeding? It's not an arterial bleeding. You still put a tourniquet on them, and boom, they lose an arm. You didn't. I mean, in a way, yeah, you probably saved their lives, but they didn't have to lose that arm. Um, but there I go, fucking rambling again. So, like I said, get the training, get the equipment, spend the money, buy from reputable dealers, buy the good shit. This is shit you trust your life to on a daily basis. Buy the good shit. Don't buy the cheap shit. Don't go down to the Dollar Tree and get dollar gauze. No, go get good shit. Always get good shit. Whether it's firearms, medical equipment, steaks, beer, get the good shit. You'll thank yourself in the long run. Well, y'all be safe out there.